at some point you develop a family along the way. How does traveling the world transition to roots?
Yeah. So, I think I figured out for 20 years I was never in one country for more than like a month or two, so it was just perpetual movement, which was really great, and easy as a single person. And then I met my wife, Carla. We've been together, I think, 23 years, and I became more sedentary. And I was also getting older where I couldn't, after the passing of, friends and watching, I wasn't ready to make the transition into jet skis and vests and all that stuff. I was like, I was ready to be like, hey, that was a good era, and getting to surf good Mavericks with 4 or 5 guys out, and having the left completely, like, I was surfing by myself basically, and I was like, you know what, I feel good about that. And still paddle out and surf big waves, that's great, but I didn't need to be on every swell. And I had definitely satiated my travel bug, like 20 years of it, and I love California. I believe it's, to me, if that's the best place still on earth, and there's so much country that you can, in these California mountains and our islands. And I kind of just took that sort of wanting to see what was around the next bend or down the creek and just kind of applied that to here.
Yeah.
And I love California. Yeah, I really do.
There's plenty to explore.
And when people complain about, it being crowded, I sort of, I'm like, I know, yeah, there's nothing left here yet. You can be in incredible places that look like Colorado, in a half day's hike into, it's amazing what's still left here. So, yeah.
So how did that relationship with surfing change? You said you weren't interested in being on every single swell, but are you still surfing? What's your current relationship?
I haven't been surfing much this last year. I surf in the last, how many years? I was surfing a ton. I will say the first few years I stopped chasing big swells. It was really, really hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was just completely fit mentally and physically, and the skis are coming in, and like, it was kind of like in a way at that time, like social media, it was like, went from like, it was like all the set, there was like this little group of people that were surfing big waves and really, really committed to it. And then it was within a year, there was hundreds of big wave surfers, and there was big wave tours, and there was, in a way that was cool, but my ego was like watching guys that wouldn't paddle out on any of those big days, and then skis come in and they're double XL world champions. And I remember some of those guys were straight pussies, and now they're, and so my ego made me jealous of that, for sure, for a time. It was kind of fun to be in front of a camera so much and then have zero. You start surfing better, I think, and
really
different lines,
Yeah.
And then you also realize that your hips and your back are you're when you're young, you're surfing every day to see if you can do something you've never done before, and as you get older, if you're realistic with yourself, you're in terms of doing that magic wiggle, shred wiggle, like if you're true to yourself, you're like, I'm not surfing as good as I was when I was 28. Like I'm 48 now. So it's just looking worse and worse. Like, unless you're Kelly, it's not about looking. You just start finding these just fun lines, and I started riding boards that were less forgiving, and telling myself, like, I'm just going to commit to every turn, either to completely eat shit or like make a beautiful line and stick to that. And Like there's surfers, there's a guy named Josh Farborough that one of my favorite surfers, a big stout guy, and like he builds his own boards, and they're just, it's all or nothing surfing, power and commitment to good lines, and that's the kind. And my brother Dan, like I love watching those kind of those kind of surfers, and we see there's this huge movement of riding all kinds of boards, and I feel like guys there's a lot of safety dances going on. Like the mid lengths, a lot of times are an excuse to just prance about on a wave, and it's like that board is not built. You're riding it like a fun board, and like I honestly, like I will be judgmental about that. I'm like, it's not an excuse to surf soft, like, and just get more waves. Like I want to see, look at like fucking pedal to the metal of that thing, man, and like be smooth. Maybe you ride a 200-yard long wave and you do one turn, but like think about like Terry Fitzgerald on a single fin, like that bottom turn was just like sparks coming off his rails, man. Like that. I love seeing guys that are really like surfing with power and speed on all these different kinds of boards.
Yeah.